guys. Hello. It's Sunshine here. Welcome back. Okay. So, you guys, I wanted to do this video because if you watched my earlier live stream, I told you guys that I wanted to come back and do a video talking about Daphne Joy and her interview with Cam Newton Friday. Okay, so if you didn't see, all right, Daphne Joy did a interview with Cam Newton on his podcast, Freaky Friday, and she talked about some very interesting things. All right, and I thought it was important because I don't feel like we talk about stuff like this on a regular basis. So, of course, Cam Newton was, going in because, he said she's a beautiful woman and he just wanted to know all the things he could know about Daphne Joy to find out who she is, right? Now, if you don't know who Daphne Joy is, that is, I believe, allegedly, okay, Jane Doe from the P. Diddy case. All right? Allegedly, she was the Jane Doe, but what we do know is, for sure, is that Daphne Joy was with P. Diddy. Allegedly, she was the last woman that was with P. Diddy, I guess, because I think he was with Young Miami too. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm not going to say she was the last woman, but she's one of Diddy's many women, right? So Cam Newton, he was asking her some very direct questions, and I thought they were very interesting because, y'all, we don't talk about stuff like this a lot, right? And then when it comes to women, we usually, not me because I understand the game, but a lot of females usually give women who think like this the stank face. Like, ugh, like, it's like, but, so let's get into it, right? So, y'all, Cam Newton asked Daphne Joy, P. Diddy's, and I believe P. Diddy is still taking care of her mortgage or her rent or whatever. He didn't ask her that, which I thought was very interesting because if Daphne Joy is actually Jane Doe from P. Diddy's trial, yes, P. Diddy, she said that P. Diddy was paying for her lawyer fees and still paying her $5,000 alleged monthly rent. Okay, while she was on trial testifying against him. All right, but anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. That's not what we're talking about. So Cam Newton asked Daphne Joy, he said, so when you were a kid, what desires did you have? What type of woman did you want to be when you grew up? Now, you might be thinking, if you're a woman, oh, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, a dentist, maybe a politician or something, the president, something like this. She said she always admired Pamela Anderson. Now, if you don't know who Pamela Anderson is, she is the lady from Baywatch with the huge boobs and little body, huge boobs, okay? Very much a sex symbol, okay? Almost like a Marilyn Monroe, like a Anna Nicole. It's plenty women that we know about in history that have been these sex symbols, right? She said that was her desire. So Cam Newton asked her, what is her race? She said she is Filipino. Okay, now if you've seen the interview with Rick Ross and him on the PBD podcast, he talked about how Daphne Joy would be on Star Island with P. Diddy, and Bruce Leroy would be with him going fishing. Now, Bruce Leroy is her son, her and 50 Cent's son. So her and 50 Cent share a son together, and I believe he's like 12 or 13 years old. Anyway, I guess I never really paid attention to Daphne Joy looks because I didn't get to see the video. And I would have watched it, to be honest, because I wanted to see it. I wanted to see one of them. Is that messy of me? I'm just being honest, okay? I couldn't find the video nowhere. If you don't know what I'm talking about, allegedly a video of her, P. Diddy, and a S worker just recently came out a couple weeks ago, and a lot of people say they saw it. I don't believe it because I couldn't find it. So I'm like, how everybody else seen it, and I couldn't find it. But I don't know. Anyway, the video came out, and she said she was threatened that that video would come out years ago, a couple years ago, and it didn't come out. And so she, told her lawyer about it, and they told her, once it come out, they could try to, get a hold of it, but it was nothing they could do. So anyway, years later, up until 2 weeks ago, the tape came out, and she said she was like okay with everything. And it makes sense, okay? Because she sees herself as a sex symbol. Very beautiful woman, okay? I mean, very beautiful woman. Body beautiful, tan is beautiful. I didn't see her standing up or anything, but I could tell from her sitting down that she's very well pampered. She takes great care of herself, and it's given to me like a Kim K, right? Because before Kim K came out, allegedly, with that S tape with Ray J. Before Kim K came out with that S tape with Ray J, she was organizing closets. Okay, she was allegedly taking money from the Norwood family, Brandy and her mom, allegedly. Okay, well, she's actually been sued for that, and I believe they won like $3 million. But I don't know. I'm just going to say allegedly on here because I didn't follow that case. But allegedly, Kim K and her mom, I believe, Kris Jenner, were allegedly stealing from the Norwood family and got sued and had to pay up. Anyway, if you remember how Kim K became famous, she did a video, right? She came out with this X tape with Ray J, and the next thing you know, Kim K is everywhere, right? So it gave me, maybe they knew something, right? Maybe Kris Jenner back then, Kris was Kardashian. She was Kardashian. She wasn't Jenner yet when that tape came out. But maybe Kris saw that Kim could be, or maybe Kim said she wanted to be a sex symbol in this world. This is what she wants to be, because obviously it's girls that fantasize about being a man's sex symbol. Getting all the men, being with the richest man, which I don't see nothing with. That's why I wanted to talk about this today, because I don't see nothing wrong with it. Not a thing. Okay, get your money, honey. All right, but I guess it's a good and a bad to that, because in Daphne Joy's situation, she had to not only be with P. Diddy, but she had to find men, allegedly, and be with those men as well. Now, for someone who takes a lot of care of, great care of their body, I don't think you want to be using up your private part in that way, having with multiple men doesn't seem like a good idea in my opinion. I don't know, but the whole sex symbol thing, I definitely understand. And she said that she knows that a lot of people are just, they're not going to like the fact that she says that she feels this way. She said she's okay with the tape being out because if you think about it, this is her thing. This is what she does. Cam Newton asked Joy if like what was her goals moving forward, like what type of stuff did she want to do. Now the average person would have said, we've heard this a million times, right? After someone gets a whole lot of fame and success, what do you think the next steps are for them? A podcast or a YouTube channel, a book, you know. She said she's gained more followers on her OnlyFans and her career is taking off. And I was like very shocked because Cam didn't ask, like, okay, 20 years from now, Joy or Daphne, 30 years from now, ma'am, what do you see yourself doing? What's up, Chris? What do you see yourself doing? Like, do you plan on being, Cam didn't ask this, but I was thinking it. But she said that's her goal. She wants to be a sex symbol and she wants her OnlyFans to blow up because it has been blowing up for her real big. She says she's gained a lot more fans. She called them fans. And she said a lot of her fans have been encouraging her to keep going, to keep pushing. I'm talking about Daphne Joy, P. Diddy's woman. She did an interview with Cam Newton Friday. And she said that she wants to be considered a sex symbol. And I thought that was different because usually you see women, they want to be sexy, they want to be looked at as sexy. You know, think about all the Instagram models, all the so-called models, right? They want to be sex symbols as well. But if they say they want to be sex symbols, then they're looked at bad. The world hates them. Usually it's the women, more of the women. And you do have some men who can't stand a woman who looks too beautiful, probably because of some insecurities they have. But usually it's a bad thing when a woman wants to be a sex symbol. But I don't see anything wrong with it. And I like the fact that even though she said this, she seemed like she meant what she said. And I believed her. I believe she said when she was a kid, she said she's Filipino. She said she came here when she was a very young girl. She said she was raised in a house full of Filipino women, no men around. It was her sister, her mom, and her aunts. And they all lived in a house together. And they all were independent women. And I thought that was very interesting because a lot of times you don't really hear a lot of independent women being other than black, right? Usually, you know, the black woman is the independent woman. You know, most of us don't have a man, right? But no one really talks about the other races that go through the same thing. Because what I've noticed is the white women go through the same thing. It's a lot of single white women, but they don't call themselves independent. And I don't think black women really call ourselves independent. I don't know if Neo started that with that song, Miss Independent, and then it just put a bad rep on us. I don't know where that all came from. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I don't know. But I thought it was very interesting that she said she was raised, Daphne Joy said she was raised by nothing but women, a house full of women, and she said she used to watch Baywatch. And she admired Pamela Anderson. and her role in that movie. And she wanted to be an actress just like her, and she wanted to be a sex symbol. So when she said that, it just reminded me of all the Instagram models and all the social media models, the video vixens that we used to call them vixens back in the day, right? Who used to be all in the videos, beautiful women who we admired as girls, because I'm not the only one. I remember being young, looking at beautiful women and being like, oh, she looks good. I want to look good like that. Not to say that I wouldn't want my daughters to be a sex symbol. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't want that for my daughter, but I understood that Daphne Joy, that was her desire. But my thing of it is when will it play out? Will she be a sex symbol when she's in her 50s? Now, mind you, because she is Filipino, her skin is probably going to always be tight. Okay, like they say about black people's skin don't crack, right? So she probably always have that tight skin. She probably will still look good at 60, but you'll know she older. Then it could turn into a cougar channel, I guess. I don't know, but I just thought it was strange how it was no cutoff for her. She was just basking in the moment, living in the moment, and I thought that was a little dangerous. Because I'm thinking you gotta have an exit plan. I'm sure she's already pretty up there. She's probably in her 40s, but she looks good. I don't know. She looks like she's in her 40s. If she's not, I don't know how old she is. I guess I probably should have looked that up. But yeah, with the sex symbol, if you think about it, our superheroes, Wonder Woman, okay, that's a sex symbol. She's strong, she's powerful, but she's sexy also, right? Catwoman, okay, Catwoman is sexy, she's beautiful, okay, she's strong, she's powerful. When you think about Halloween, girls are always dressing up as these beautiful sex symbols, right? And it's the whole thing. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that she made it a real thing. If you think about Anna Nicole, y'all, I used to follow Anna Nicole when she was alive because I thought she was a beautiful white woman. Beautiful white woman. And I love the fact that she was so real. She just seemed like she was very freaking cool. Like I would have been able to hang out with her and, do all the things. And I hate the way her story ended. But Anna Nicole, if you think about it, Nicki Minaj kind of piggyback off of Anna Nicole. So I guess in a way, Nicki Minaj probably saw herself as a sex symbol. All the artists, well, not all, but especially the rappers, the female rappers, it seems like they almost have to be sex symbols. Unless they're, be honest, like a dyke. I don't know if that's a lesbian. Is that how I'm supposed to say it? I don't mean no harm. But so, because like you got the Brat. The Brat is a rapper, which has a beautiful body too. I seen a recent picture of the Brat, and she still got the banging body. Okay, matter of fact, she got more booty than Judy looked like. I was like, look at her Brat, she still got it. But a lot of women and young girls, I'm pretty sure, want to be that sex symbol. They want to be sexy. And then Cam Newton was asking Daphne Joy, like, can being submissive to your man, is that something you can learn, or is it like something that's just in you? And she pretty much didn't answer that. I'm not sure she quite understood the question, but Cam just took it as no, it can't. It can't be. Because Daphne Joy said she's the type of woman who, when her and her man finish, intercourse, she goes and get the rag. She's running bath water. She's rubbing his feet. She's massaging his feet. She's cooking for him after intercourse. Like, this is what she likes doing each and every time. Now, that's submissive to the 10th power right there. Okay? Because the girl, if he don't order me some food and we go to sleep, like, child, like, But I thought that was real interesting how she portrayed herself to be like super submissive. Because Kim was like, how would one get into a position like that where they're with their mate and their mate is asking them to do things like that? Because she said with her ex, this is how she said it, Daphne Joy, in the interview with Cam Newton. She said, well, with my ex, normally I wouldn't want to be intimate with someone else. Like, that's not a request. But because I love him, I'm going to do whatever he wants to do. And so Kim was like, well, when does it become too much and you have to stand up and, say, I'm not doing it? And she just kept saying, if my man likes it, I'm just going to do it. And her voice was just so soft and so soft the whole time. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was just like, girl, are you trying to seduce Cam Newton? He looked like he probably would have been interested, but he also looked like he was aggravated at the same time, because what wouldn't you do? Because if Diddy was the type to want her to peg him, she probably would have did that too, because her man asked her to do it. But I don't know. I feel like there has to be a balance when it comes to that. Because if you're with a rich man, or with any man, right? To be honest, my nose is itching. Somebody probably talking, but whatever. If you're with the man and you're wanting to be submissive to this man, you're probably going to do whatever he asks you to do or tells you to do, because if you're submissive to him, then you probably want him to tell you what to do. Now, I will be honest and say, I can be submissive to my man. And I grew up thinking you're supposed to be submissive to your man, but there's a thin line there too. I don't know. I wouldn't call it thin. I would call it, there's a line. All right? Like, you shouldn't be beating on me. It shouldn't be no type of abuse. Okay? And we should just be doing legal stuff. Like, other than that, then it's a no-go. This is what I grew up thinking. But at the same time, if my man is taking care of the home, he is paying the bills, like, to me, it's like foreplay, being submissive to my man, because I know it's going to lead into something playful and then, something else afterwards. But in this case with Daphne Joy, like, we don't know if she was being abused like Cassie was. At some point, you have to cut that off. And you got to save yourself, because I just see her being with someone that's Daphne Joy, that is. I just see her being with someone who could take her out of this world, because she think that's cute. You got to be careful with these men, because some men don't play, right? You got to be real careful. Some men, they'll be cute at the beginning of the relationship, and then they get real crazy. And we don't know how her situation was with Diddy. Okay? She said he only, allegedly, if she's Jane Doe, she said during the trial, that he only hit her a couple of times, but she said that he was rugging her a lot with the D. So it's like, you want to be with a rich man that bad, you're going to get rugged and possibly get stuck on a rug with the D, possibly be beaten very badly. I mean, the Cassie situation was terrible. If you remember, Cassie said that she was beaten so bad that Diddy would put her in a hotel for a week to recover. Allegedly, he beat her up so bad, she had to get emergency surgery on her nose. And then allegedly, that same story happened to Kim Porter. That's what Gene Deal said. So, I mean, you have to think about being submissive and also being taken advantage of, So Fantasia just recently posted a post saying that she said she's submissive to her man, and it's a godly thing to do, and she's going to always be submissive to her man. And I thought that was real interesting because Fantasia's husband, when she met him, he had just recently got out of, I believe, federal prison, allegedly. I know he was locked up. So, and he works for her. I believe he's like her manager. So to me, when I think about, well, I'm not religious. So like I said, to me, being submissive to a man is like foreplay. It's the playful thing to me. But when I hear someone like Fantasia saying that she's submissive to her man, he is the king of the household, he is the head of household, she's submissive to him because her religion tells her to be submissive to her man, I find that it's like, I don't like that, because if you sign your husband checks, should you really be submissive to him? Or should he be submissive to you? I mean, I'm just asking. Wouldn't work for me. That's all I'm saying. Wouldn't work for me. You guys, when you come in here, make sure, even when you're watching the playback, to hit that like button. Subscribe to my YouTube channel here. I really, really appreciate it, okay? We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And I got so much good footage coming next month. So I got some stuff planned to give y'all some great footage and content. So make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're loving what you're hearing. If you like watching me, if you're interested in the topics that I bring, okay? Because not only do I talk about celebrity news over here, but I also talk about interesting topics based on like the interviews I see from celebrities, right? Like this interview with Daphne Joy and Cam Newton. Y'all check out the full video on Cam Newton's YouTube channel. I believe his podcast is called Freaky Friday or something, or I don't know. Anyway, check it out. Check out the full video over there. But back to Fantasia and her husband and being submissive. I don't know if I could be submissive to a man who makes less money than me. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, please tell me. I would love to have this conversation with men to find out what they're thinking. How do men feel about being submissive? Women, how do y'all feel about being submissive to a guy? Can you be submissive to a man who makes less money than you? Because if you could be submissive to a man who makes less money than you could be submissive to a man who's the homemaker. That's the man who stays at home with the children and the woman goes to work. Which, to me, if it works, then it works. But should a woman be submissive to a man who she makes more money than him? I don't know about that. Fantasia. I understand what she means about it being godly. I would just say, like, I wouldn't say I would be submissive. I'm submissive. First of all, I wouldn't even tell anybody because most people know that in that situation with Fantasia and her husband, that she is the breadwinner because he doesn't have a job other than working for her. So you're talking, I just wouldn't even say that because I love Fantasia. I don't even know her. I came close to meeting her. I've actually went to her house before in Charlotte, North Carolina. I guess that was her first house after she won American Idol. I knew this girl who I worked with. Her name was Fantasia. Fantasia, if you watching this video, what's up, girl? But she was messing with Fantasia's brother, and she took me to meet Fantasia's brother at Fantasia's house. And yeah, so I got the opportunity to be at Fantasia's house. And she also played me. Yes, Fantasia, if you're watching this, yeah, you played me. Because I always wanted a Yorkie, right? And she kept leading me on, telling me Fantasia wanted to give away her Yorkie. And she was watching Fantasia's Yorkie. And she was like, well, I have the Yorkie, but I have to make sure Fantasia's okay with me giving it to her, and just lead me on, child. I'm like, I'm ready for the dog. But anyway, that's how I end up getting to go to Fantasia's house, because I used to live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that house Fantasia had was in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was actually in Ballantyne. But anyway, so I came real close to meeting Fantasia, and I love her. I love her voice. I love her story and everything. I just hate to hear that story about, like, she didn't even have to tell that she's submissive to her husband. He's head of household. And it's like, but you write his checks. How he gonna be head of household when I gotta sign off on the money? No. Anyway, I guess that's why Daphne Joy is doing what she's doing. Cam Newton didn't ask Daphne, like, how does she feel about her son? He's 12 or 13 years old right now, so I know he's probably hearing all the mess that she's been into with 50 Cent and with Diddy. He didn't ask about that. I thought that was very strange, but I guess he was trying to protect her. That's what I was feeling. Like Kim was trying to just play it safe, because he kept calling her beautiful, and she kept, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. So I think he didn't want to, like, hurt her in any way, especially knowing what she's probably been through with Diddy, whole thing. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that he didn't ask about her child. Like, what are you thinking about your child? Like, your child knows that you're on OnlyFans showing your body. There's a X tape out here that's a lot of folks say they seen. Like, how do you explain this to your child? But he didn't ask that question. I thought it was real interesting. Anyway, the last piece here. So Cam Newton, obviously, Daphne Joy, her first interview was on DJ Academics podcast. And I guess he has a huge crush on her. So Kim was asking her, so like, would academics have a chance with you? Would he be someone that you would date? And she said, yeah. And Kim was like, nah, you wouldn't date him. And she was like, yeah, I would, because he's very funny. He makes me laugh. He just seems so genuine. And Kim was like, nah. And I'm thinking, the chubby guy? No, not to say something is anything wrong with a chubby guy, but I don't know. DJ Academics is, I, in my opinion, is not relationship material. I don't know. I don't know what woman. I don't know, but I didn't see her and him together either. I didn't believe her, but Kim was like, "No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that." And she was like, "No, I could date him." And Kim was like, "He wasn't. He didn't believe that." And I didn't believe that either. Cause I'm like, girl, you would go from Diddy to academics. Be for real. But anyway, yeah. So that's all I pretty much wanted to say. I wanted to talk about the sex symbol, the female sex symbol, and how a lot of women don't talk about this woman who wants to be that, right? And if you think about it, a lot of artists or even a lot of celebrities, like the actresses, I'm not sure if it's their goal to be like naked on camera or in a movie, but usually that's what end up happening, right? They end up being a sex symbol one way or the other. You know, I'm not sure if that's a goal of theirs or if it just end up happening. Like, think about Halle Berry. Okay, everyone knows Halle Berry from Monsters Ball, when she had to show her body and mess with that funny looking dude. Oh my goodness, what was his name? That guy. Child, I hope they paid her a lot of money for that. I really do. But anyway, she's always been a sex symbol, right? And you know, this woman does exist, right? And you think about a young Miami, she's wanting to be a sex symbol. Cardi B, you know, this is who a lot of young girls are probably, this woman has always been around. That sex symbol ever since Marilyn Monroe. Like, you know, when was that? Like 30s or 40s or some shit? I don't know. But this sex symbol, this woman who is the sex symbol, you know, she's always been wanted. She's always been wanted. Young girls have always strived to be that woman, that girl. And to hear Daphne Joy actually say that and admit that, I was real proud of her. I was like, okay, she didn't beat around the bush. You know, she didn't say, oh, I used to want to be a lawyer. No, she said this is what she always wanted to do. So with her doing what she does, you know, positioning herself with these rich men, you know, she was 50 Cent's baby mom. She's still being taken care of allegedly by P. Diddy, even though she testified against him and he's locked up. Just real interesting. But my nose itches so bad. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I'm just happy that she said it because a lot of women don't say it. You know, and I just thought, you know, that's wonderful that she said it. And Daphne Joy, if you're watching this video, girl, I would love to interview you because Cam Newton was talking about how he asked her, does she have female support or supporters? And she was saying, not really. A lot of her supporters are males. And, you know, that sucks. It really sucks. But I would love to interview you, girl. Okay? Yes, girly. Hit me up. I should have tagged myself under the video. I didn't think about that. I'm gonna go back and tag myself under the video. But yeah, I would love to be the first female interviewer to interview her and ask a whole bunch of questions. Because girl, I got questions for days. Okay, I want to know. All right. But yeah, you guys, if you don't know, In other news, Clive Davis passed away today. And I thought it was interesting how he was able to leave this life and not be named in any conspiracy with anybody. Whitney Houston, Phyllis Hyman, who else? Michael Jackson, anyone. You know, it's weird to me how a lot of those people get to leave this world and still have their millions, still have their legacy. It's crazy to me. But he did pass away. It is what it is now. Only thing we could do is talk about woulda, coulda, shoulda. Because now we can't prove nothing. Nothing. Because he's not here anymore. But yeah, real interesting. Real interesting. A lot of people. Oh, Angie Stone. Okay, Angie Stone just recently. All right. So I mean, and that one about to piss me off thinking about it again, because the people who she was looking to sue was connected with Clive Davis, which I believe was all Clive Davis anyway. But like I said, he was able to escape all that. He passed away, and it just is what it is now. Right? So what can we do? What can we do? It is what it is. But yeah, you guys, that's all I have. I wanted to do this Friday or Saturday, but like I said, I just got lazy. And yeah, but I have some great ideas for my YouTube channel here. I'm looking into getting a better camera real soon. And yeah, I want to start doing some vlogging. But I probably won't do that for a couple of months because I want to have things to show and do, Can't just show my work life. But yeah. But yeah, so I got some real special things that I have planned for this YouTube channel and expanding it. And you guys, oh my goodness, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Okay, press that button. Okay, come back for more. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about the female sex symbol. Okay, do you feel like she should be ashamed of herself? Or do you feel like the female sex symbol is needed in the world? Because I believe she's needed. She's needed because what man doesn't want her? Okay, she's feminine to the 10th power, right? Okay, let's talk about it in the comment section. You guys have an awesome evening. All right, if I have another topic, I'll come back on here with another video. But thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, peace.